Hey guys, Laharl here, and this is my face. um, so recently, as you may or may not know, I've gotten 50 subscribers, thanks in part to, everyone that watches my videos, and friends that have helped out and gave me shoutouts, like Odin just gave 3 of them in a row, and I thought that was pretty crazy. So I wanted to do something special for my 50 subscribers, and I was originally going to just do a PlayStation 2 collection video, just because, but then Snack Attack was like, hey, you should make one while we were talking on Skype, and I was like, dude, I was planning on that. So then I thought, that'd be a perfect video to do for a 50 subscribers video. So that's what this video is going to be about today. This is going to be my PS2 collection. Before we get started on that, though, my PS2 collection is not as big as it used to be. I'm actually missing quite a few games because, when I was a kid, I didn't take care of my stuff. So I don't have all the games I used to. So this collection is just, the collection I built up as I got older and finally realized, oh hey, the things that people buy for you is kind of important and you should take care of it. So anyway, I went ahead and took a cue out of Snack's video that he did and organized them in ABC order. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started with the first game. The first game we have is, well, sadly it's a game that doesn't work for me anymore. This is Dark Cloud 2. I'm a huge fan of the Dark Cloud series, and I used to have the first one, but my first one, again, went missing. I really liked the second one the most, and I just realized I was staring at it. So if you get the chance, I highly recommend picking this one up. You basically get to you make your own weapons, and you get to do all sorts of things, like you make your own towns and you make your own weapons, and it's by level 5, so good company. Next game is a game that I should own, considering my username, Disgaea Hour of Darkness. I could go into all sorts of details about this game, but basically you play as Prince Laharl, a spoiled prince whose father was killed, and he ended up taking a 2-year nap and is now trying to become the overlord of the Netherworld. This game is ridiculous. There is a ridiculous amount of stuff to do in it. It's got, it's got a pretty good amount of comedy in it. And overall, this is, my all-time favorite game ever. So I highly recommend picking this one up too. I don't know why I'm just, sitting here advertising all these games, but, this is new to me. So, Disgaea, good game, good game. Of course it is. Next, is actually Disgaea 2. But here's the sad news. My copy does not exist anymore. I was really stupid and left it out one day, and I broke it. So, I don't really have this anymore, but I kept the case to remember my stupidity. But yeah, this is just basically the sequel. Same gameplay, different story, way more features. Take too long to go into all of them. And then the next game we have is actually, the .hack games. Infection and Mutation. And, on the side you get the little picture. This is one of the very first PS2 games to come out, and Infection was actually one of the first, PS2 games that I ever owned. I don't know how I'm gonna hold this. I'll do this. So, it's a pretty simple, hack and slash game. And, the storyline isn't the greatest, and it helps to have seen the anime, too, because it ties in heavily with that. One of the first PS2 games I ever owned. It got a little bit of a bad rep from reviewers, like, every game I seem to like does. And, because it gets kinda tedious at sometimes, but I guess I'm one of those weird people that really likes hack and slash games, because one of my other favorite games is Dynasty Warriors. But, if you're into hack and slash games and games that think they're actually online but aren't really, I would highly recommend checking these out too. And I keep advertising these games. Why do I keep saying I highly recommend you check this out? Because I like all the games I own. Next is actually the other .hack series that was released near the end of the PS2 life, .hack GU. I used to have the first and second and third of these, but I've only got the first one. Same concept as that one, hack and slash game inside of a game. It's pretty good. I would say it's better than the other one. Because, the other one feels kind of repetitive, and this one's got much more of an action feel to it than that one does. And overall, I would say this one's a lot better. You know, the AI works better. There's more features to it. There's more weapon decision. It's just overall better. Good game, actually. Let's see. Next, we have a game that technically isn't mine, but the person owning it didn't want it back, so I kept it. Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2. Quite the title. It is the second game in the 3D Dragon Ball Z fighting games, and it's actually not too bad. You have a lot of customization with your characters. You know, there's like a ton of characters. Like, seriously, you have to find somebody you like in this game, because there are, like, I think there's 120, it says on the back here. Yeah, I mean, you know, most of them are kind of just, you know, fusion sides, but and Super Saiyan versions. But anyway, this is a pretty good game. The 3D Tenkaichi games feel kind of weird at first, and it takes a bit of getting used to, but I'd say this is actually a really good fighting game because it's really simple and the controls are really easy to understand, and you don't have to do anything really complicated to pull something off, like in, you know, say Tekken or in Street Fighter, in the latest ones anyway, to pull off, you know, ultimate moves, super combos, and ultra combos. But yeah, good game also. Next up, we have a game that seems to be stuck because it's sticky on the back. That's kind of gross. Dragon Quest 8. Dragon Quest 8 is, well, it's Dragon Quest. You know, it's pretty typical of a Dragon Quest game. You have your typical turn-based fighting game, except this one doesn't hide your characters. This one actually shows your characters attacking them, and it was also developed actually by Level 5, but, you know, published by Square Enix. And Level 5 is really a pretty good game developer, so you can count on them. The storyline is you play as a random hero who, gotta put in the camera, who, he was the survivor of an attack on the castle that he was guarding, and he was the only one that didn't turn into a mysterious monster, and he is on a quest, to, free the people of the castle from a curse, and, you know, with any RPG it turns into more than that, so. But, you know, it's a pretty typical Dragon Quest game, and, you know, not much really to say about it. Next, we have a game that I don't have anymore, but I kept the case for some reason. I don't know what happened to this game, but Drakengard 2. I was a fan of the first Drakengard game when it came out, because I loved the fact that it was gritty, it was violent. I don't know, I didn't even think I was into violent games when I was a kid, because I really wasn't. This is a pretty good series. It kind of takes a lot of cues from Dynasty Warriors, but it's got more RPG elements to it. The sequel, to me, was not as good as the first one, because the controls were kind of weird, and the storyline wasn't as mature as the first one was, but, you know, it's still not a bad game. I don't really remember all the story too much, because I haven't really gotten the chance to play this one too much, which is really unfortunate, because I don't have it anymore, the physical disc copy of it, and I just noticed I have a lot of games with D in them. So, Drakengard 2, good game. We're at the 8-minute mark already. I'm gonna put this into 2 parts. Everything I do is 2-parted. Next, we've got a game that every PS2 owner should have, Final Fantasy X. I don't even know that I should give a description about this game, because you all should know about this game. You've all heard about it, you've all seen it, you've probably all played it. It's Final Fantasy X, it's awesome. I'd rank it as my second favorite Final Fantasy next to 9. Someday, I really hope to do a Let's Play of this game, but that's not going to be for a while. Next game is a game that, geez, what is with me and having games that aren't mine? Guitar Hero 2. Again, a game that everybody knows, and GameStop sticker. Hate these things, they never come off. And when they do, they like rip up your case. It's Guitar Hero. You've all played it, I'm sure, or you've already seen somebody play it, so I don't need to say anything about it. This is actually my mom's. My mom is a gamer, kinda. She used to be. And she really likes the Guitar Hero games. But, you know, I wouldn't say this one's too bad. It's thanks to this game that, you know, I found a couple bands that I really liked, but, you know, typical Guitar Hero game. You hold down the fret keys, you strum. You know, you've all played Guitar Hero, or you've seen somebody play it. Next game is my pride and joy, which doesn't have a real case. This is a GameStop case. Actually, this is Ico. Yes, Ico. Look at the price of that. $30 pre-owned. I got this last year. Ico is that game that came out and nobody played it until Shadow of the Colossus came out, and then people realized that this game existed. You know, critical acclaim, but nobody played it because it was different, and they were all too busy playing Final Fantasy X. It's a platforming puzzle game that has an emphasis on its art style, and it's got a little bit of action elements into it, and, you know, I'm sure you all know about Ico, but I'm still telling you anyway. Overall, I would say that it is a very good game. I have played and beat it twice. Will I let's play it? You'll see. It's a secret. Next on the list is a game that, again, I own all the popular games, I noticed. Kingdom Hearts, which has a name at the top. I don't know who that is, but I got it from GameStop, and people like to write their names on games. Kingdom Hearts 1. You probably already know about this game. It was a collaboration between Squaresoft, Enix, whatever, and Disney, and it was very good. Like, you know, you see Disney on the front, I think. Yeah, my finger's covering it. You see Disney on the front and you're like, oh no, a Disney game. But it actually turned out to be really good. It's got a lot of action elements to it. It's got a pretty deep story well, I mean, it's a deep story if you think about it. It's pretty simple, really. But it's got a nice storyline to it. You know, the battles are kind of simple. I'd say this one's actually harder than the second one, even though there is no proud mode, just because, you know, you have to select items with the D-pad and you can't set a thing to it, and the magic is different in this one. It's more typical to the magic in, you know, the other ones. And the enemies seem to do more damage in this one, even on the normal difficulty. But overall, it's one of my favorite action RPGs, so give it a shot if you haven't already. Or you probably have, because everybody's played it. Next is not surprising to anybody, Kingdom Hearts 2. Basically, a continuation of the first one, a game that probably everybody owned at one point. They added more to it, like in battle you can hold the L1 button and get extra, you know, shortcuts, so you can cast magic and use your items faster. I think you could you set shortcuts in the first one? I'm pretty sure you could, but you couldn't set shortcuts for items, but you can in this one. But items are kind of useless when it comes to magic. But anyway, you know, improved graphics, improved, well, a lot of things, really. More Disney characters. It's basically the same game, but, you know, continuation of the story and a couple of updates to the gameplay. Next is a rare game that nobody heard about, and the first game to introduce Nippon-ichi, who wasn't Nippon-ichi at the time, La Pucelle Tactics. This is Nippon-ichi's, who was known at the time as Mastiff. Well, I think it was done by Mastiff, but then they went defunct, and I don't know the story behind that, but La Pucelle Tactics. This was basically Nippon-ichi's first game here. Well, no, I take that back. Don't get mad at me. I forgot about Rhapsody. What was it? Magical Rhapsody? Something like that. Some PS1 game was there. But this is their first PS2 game and their first strategy game to come out here. This actually came out before Disgaea 1 did. Or did it come out? I don't even know. This game came out. It's good, okay? It's a strategy game that has... It's kind of different in that every time you attack an enemy, you see a neat little animation of it. And this is where Prie shows up. If you've ever played Disgaea, you know that Prie is that really huge, big-breasted demon girl that pops up all the time. And overall, I'd say it's not too bad. It's got an interesting concept in that you can equip, like, anything, except for, well, there's not healing items in it, but you can equip anything to any slot that you want. So you have a lot of customization behind your character, and, you know, depending on what you equip will determine what your character specializes in, and I'm shaking for some reason. It's got some good humor in it. The storyline's not that bad. It's got a really heavy alleviation towards religion, which is, you know, for its time, this was out in like 2002, something like that. Or 2004, who knows. But either way, if you can find this game, well, good luck, because I got lucky when I found it. And I found it for $10 too. Good game, though. And then the next one, as we approach the 14-minute mark, is another Nippon-ichi game, and my headset fell off, because I have to reach down for this. Okay, next is another Nippon-ichi game that isn't played by a lot of people, Makai Kingdom. I got lucky and managed to get this on the same day as I did La Pucelle Tactics. This is Nippon-ichi's first game in which they used the circular strategy thing. And you know, it's a pretty interesting story. You don't actually get main characters in this. Your entire army consists of characters you create. So you don't move around as the main character because the main character gets turned into a book. It's also got some neat comedy. It's got this neat little circular circular map thing where you can move anywhere you want to. You're not confined to a grid. And it's also got this neat little randomly generated map thing in each of the normal stages, so you can make your own maps. Excuse me. And yeah, I'd say that it's pretty good. It's not my favorite Nippon Ichi game, and I haven't beaten it because it's kinda tough, and the leveling is really slow, and there's really no way to increase it without doing some obscure thing, and there's some aspects of it that I don't like how it was made, but, I mean, it's got vehicles. You can attack people with a tank. I mean, come on, you got tanks. What's so bad about that? But if you can find it, good luck. Next, we have 3 games in 1. We have Onimusha Essentials. Again, not a game I thought I'd ever be interested in, but as I got older, you know, my taste changed. This one includes, well, the essentials for Onimusha. It includes Onimusha 1, 2, and 3. All of these games are very good in their own right, and, you know, you play as a samurai who's trying to kill Nobunaga because Nobunaga is obviously a bad guy who can control demons. He sends the demons to destroy everybody. There's lots of blood, there's lots of gore, there's lots of stabbing things. The voice acting in the first 2 is horrendous. The gameplay itself is awesome. I have not beaten 2 because I'm actually stuck in 2. Stuck, not stuck. And 3 is easily the best because apparently it has really famous voice actors according to the back, but I don't know who they are. So that just proves how famous they really are. I guess they might be famous from where they're from. Anyway, the third one is easily the best out of all of them because you can finally move with the joystick and you don't have to move with the D-pad, which was I do that all the time. The movement's kind of weird in that you have to use the D-pad. But overall, I'd say if you can get your hands on any of the Onimusha games, I would highly recommend all of them because they're all pretty good, and they're all really cheap now too. Okay, we're nearing the end, sadly. Next, we have another one of my pride and joys, Persona 3, not the FES version. Now, correct me if I'm wrong about this one, but I'm pretty sure that Persona 3. When it was supposed to come out, there was the, Persona 2 and Persona 1 for the PS1 that was released here, but nobody played it. What's with me and games that nobody played? Seriously. I own all the games nobody plays. Anyway, this game was supposed to have only, I think, 2,000 copies? Was it? 20,000? I don't know. I just know there wasn't a lot of this game released. And then all of a sudden people were like, oh my god, Persona 3 is amazing! And then they decided to release the FES version, which had more features. I got this game for $5. $5. That was awesome. That was like the greatest day of my life. You play as a boy going to high school, and he's dealing with these mysterious happenings in the new town that he's visiting, and he has to live in an all-girls dorm. Well, it was an all-girls dorm. And, you have to fight demons at night because of a mysterious hour hidden at midnight that only a select few can find. It sounds kind of cliche, but really, this storyline for this game is pretty good. You're probably gonna find the FES version more than you will the original. Next, we've got another Nippon Ichi game, because I love Nippon Ichi. Soul Nomad and the World Eaters. This game, I have not beat yet. I have a lot of games I haven't beaten yet. This is the game where Nippon Ichi really kind of went all out, because it's a lot more vulgar than their other games, and it explores a lot more. Like, I'm surprised it has a T rating because of some of the stuff they say in this game. This game has an interesting concept in that you can, you create your own little squadrons, and one character represents an entire squadron, and it's actually pretty good. It's got a lot more strategy involved with it than the other Nippon Ichi games, I think, because you have to decide, whether your characters are going to be in the front of the squadron, or the middle, or the back, and I'd say it's got a lot more strategy than the other two in that respect. This is one of the few Nipponichi games where you don't reincarnate and go back to level 1, and it's the only Nipponichi game where you can create characters and you can spend more money on them to get them caught up to your character's levels so that you don't have to grind separately, but you can only do that when you have a certain amount of money. And, you know, once you get to the max level of 9,999, you can, if you're super ultra rich, which you should be by that point, you can just create anyone you want at max level. And that's a pretty cool thing because it really takes away from the grinding aspect, unless, you know, you have to grind for money, so I guess it really doesn't in that sense. The storyline is really good. There's a lot of branching paths you can take, and sometimes you can even get bad endings, but the game tells you when you get one. You also get special endings at the end of the game depending on who you develop a relationship with. And the best part is you can treat innocent civilians however you want. You get an item called Fight, you can beat them up if you really want to. And you get rewarded for it too. So this game supports violence. So, yeah, I'd say it's a really good game. Probably easier to find than the other ones just because of it. And the last game in my PS2 collection, thank you, Odin. Thank you, because thanks to you, I had to go out and buy this again. It's Tales of the Abyss. This game rocks. This game absolutely friggin' rocks. Right now, it's currently my favorite Tales game. I would tell you the storyline, but why would I want to do that when you can just go watch Odin's Let's Play of Tales of the Abyss? And then maybe he'll get enough of a fan base that'll be all like, hey, Odin, play Tales again. And then he'll be like, yeah, I'll do that, and I'll Let's Play it again. But I don't know what I'm talking about, because I'm trying to convince someone to do that. Anyway, this is the story about This is a game. Wow. This is a game about a spoiled kid who, all of a sudden is warped into a world in which he does not understand, because he's never been outside of his manor. And then he acts all spoiled. And then stuff happens. And I can't say any more without spoiling it. This is the first Tales game that introduced 3D moving, so that in battle you can move any way you want to. It's kinda awkward with holding the L2 button and not being able to attack and run in any direction, but that's kind of a trade-off. The graphics are really pretty. They did a really great job with the character facial expressions. I mean, you know, it's 2005, so what are you expecting? The battle system's really good. There's a ton of stuff to do in this game. There is a ton. Every single playthrough I've ever had of this game, and I've had 2 by this point, by the way. 2 or 3. Was it 3? No. Yeah, 2 or 3. You have 4 different difficulties you can play through, and then you have like 5 billion different side quests that are all affected by different things, so you have to talk to everyone and do all sorts of weird things in order to get everything. You're not going to get everything on your first playthrough. Don't even try. Just enjoy the storyline the first time through. But if you want a great action RPG that is also amazing, and you really need to go and buy this game or more games that are Tales games, because Namco Bandai's like, I don't want to release any more Tales games on the States because nobody buys them. So yeah, Tales of the Abyss. Great game. Kind of rare though. And that, sadly, is the end of my PS2 collection, which ended up taking 23 friggin' minutes. Jeez. Okay, yeah, I don't want to 2-part a special, but whatever. I guess it really doesn't matter, because that's what I do for like every single one of my videos, because I have a lot to talk about. Alright, this was really, I'm not gonna lie to you, this was really awkward, and felt really strange, but oh well. That was my PS2 collection. And I want to end this off by saying, and since it's going to be 2 parts anyway, stop talking about 2 parts. I want to thank each and every one of you, because my webcam's kind of weird when I point the camera. I want to thank each and every one of you right there, because you are the ones that watch my videos, you are the ones that make my channel what it is, and you are the ones that are enjoying my stuff no matter how awkward, weird, introverted, quiet, stupid I sound, and you still say that you enjoy them. Thank you all very much. 59 subscribers at this point. I couldn't be any happier. I don't even know how to say it. You know, that's kind of cliche, because everybody's all like, oh, I'm amazed with my subscribers, and this is turning into a vlog instead of a PS2 collection. Anyways, I'm going to finish this off now. See what I mean by awkward? Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you continue to enjoy my Let's Plays. So, I guess that's all I got for you right now. So this has been, I guess it kind of is, I don't know. This is Laharl, signing off.